Hi, my name's Benni Knop from Noisy Post, and today we're going to talk about sound recording, how to capture great audio when you're on set. This is coming from someone who's also in audio post, and I've been doing both for the last 15 years. Let's get to it. Tip number one is get that boom in there. Dialogue is king. Story is king. If we can't hear what's being said, it doesn't matter how quality the picture is, no one's going to enjoy your story. It's so important that we have our boom just off camera. Don't have it feet or meters away if you don't need to. We obviously can use things like lavs and wild takes when we really can't get our boom in there, but it's important that we have it as close as possible to get clarity and good signal to noise ratio when recording. Tip number two is to use a windshield. We all know that outside, booms don't cope well with the wind, but it's equally important when you're inside, if there's aircon, or more importantly, if you're moving your boom around to pick up actors and to follow the scene, you're gonna get wind noise. So make sure you have a smaller windsock on hand, just ready to go. Just give it a test when you're on set. If your movement is creating wind noise, chuck a windshield on it. As a dialogue editor, it's a lot easier for me to add a bit more clarity than it is to get rid of all that low, rumbly wind noise. Tip number three is watch out for boom handling. I recently did a feature film, and all throughout the audio, there were just bumps and clonks and all these weird sounds because of boom handling. And yes, sometimes it's easy to get rid of, but it's something I shouldn't have to. And also, it does affect the audio at times. It's something you should be practicing. Hold that boom, just see what you can do and what you can't do. And listen, most of all, just use your ears. You should be hearing these things, and if you have to, get another take. Tip number four is to record wild takes. Sometimes we just can't get our boom close enough. Whether it's a wide shot or there was someone in the scene that was in the distance and we couldn't capture them with the boom. It's so important to then do some wild takes. That's when the cameras stop rolling, but in the same space, get that boom, go up to the actor, and you get them to do the take again. Even multiple times, slight variations just so we can get the timing right. Honestly, the dialogue editor and the re-recording mixer will thank you so much when they get that crystal clear audio and they don't have to do ADR. ADR should be the last resort, especially for indie films. ADR is expensive, it's time consuming, and it's never as good as capturing the audio right there and there with the emotion, with the room, with the mic. It's just so important. So just make sure, once you've finished shooting that scene, that you get those wild takes. That one line that was a wide shot, make sure you get in there, get it in the same position that you would in an ideal situation, and get that actor to just say the line a few times. Tip number five relates to tip number four, and that's to record sound effects and WALLA while you're on set. It's easier for an indie film to take an extra moment or two to record some audio on set than it is for us guys in post to go out and get audio that's gonna fit that moment. Sound effects is obvious. If you have a key, an iconic piece of equipment or a car, and you can record that sound while you're there on set, whether it's after you finish shooting or even on another day, it's a lot easier for you guys to do that on production than it is for us in post. Recording WALLA is so important. WALLA is the discussion people have in the background. So if you've got some extras in a restaurant scene or a cafe scene and they're talking in the background, obviously silently on set because you want your dialogue to be really crystal clear, it's important for you to record them doing their discussions separately. It's harder for me to go out and record something like that in post. It's easy for you guys to just take 30 seconds or a minute or 3 minutes would be even better to set up stereo mics and a boom mic and just get people to talk in that scene. You get the sound of that room, you get the number of people in that space, and just get them to talk at the level you think would be appropriate for the scene. Tip number six is mic placement, particularly lav and lapel mic placement. There are so many videos out there and other resources on how to best place your mic. There's people out there that have way more experience than me at doing this, and I suggest you go out and do your research. Someone has worked out great solutions out there, and they're all happy to share it. Try and think outside the box when it comes to lav placement. It doesn't always have to be right here in the chest. Use things in your set. If you're in a car, put it on that sun visor. Have it off the chest, especially outside of shirts and things. There's been so many times for me where the boom's just so far away because the shot's wide, and then I try to use the lav, but there's too much close shuffling and I have to use the boom, even though it's not direct and really reverberant, or even worse, we have to use ADR. Get your lav mic on the actors as early as you can. Get them to walk around, move, talk, use their hands. and then you'll hear what it's gonna sound like on set. Tip number 7 is listen to your lav mic, especially in those key shots when your boom is way out there. On a wide shot and you can't get your boom in very close, and you might not be able to get a wild take, or even if you do get a wild take, the wild takes don't always sync. Sometimes something might not work. So I'm gonna have to use that lapel mic. So make sure you're listening to it in your ears, whether you pan them left and right and listen for shuffling and movement, or even just listen to your lapel. If you know your boom is in a good spot, just listen to the lapel. If the lapel is gonna be the audio that I have to choose, you need to be listening to it to make sure it's spot on. Tip number 8 is to keep your tracks consistent. I know a lot of you indie guys out there are using 2-track recorders, something like a Zoom. Put boom on one, lapel on the other, keep it the same. But for the guys that are using 8 tracks or more, also keep your tracks consistent. Stick your boom 1, 2 on tracks 1 and 2. Your main actors, keep them on their own channels, 3, 4, whatever. And then if you got actors coming in for short scenes, put them on the lower channels and label it accordingly. My other thought is keep all your tracks active. It doesn't hurt to have empty tracks of audio. When the editor lays out their tracks with their footage, it's just consistent, 8 tracks every time. It does make it easier when it comes to me in post because all the tracks are laid out and editors aren't moving things around. It's just chunks of audio. It means that I can consistently go, all right, for this scene, this is one actor's audio, bam, chuck it into my tracks. If you want to keep your data lean and not record all your tracks, that's fine. Just make sure they're well labeled. Tip number 9 is to use a sound recorder that records metadata. I know these days indie films have low budgets and just picking up a 2-channel Zoom recorder is easy. These days you can get reasonably priced Zoom recorders that are multi-track and they record metadata, track titles, scenes, other metadata that you add to the tracks. It's important for video editors, dialogue editors, and re-recording mixers to get that information. It saves us time rather than having to listen to every track to be able to just see the labels. Also, as a sound editor, it's easier if I go back through your raw audio and I can see the sound effects labeled. I don't have to go through and listen to Zoom 001, Zoom 002, and try and find those backgrounds or Foley sound effects that you recorded on set. Tip number 10 is so important. Listen. Recently, I worked on a feature film and some of the audio was pretty rough. There was clothes shuffling in the lapels, boom mics that didn't even sound like they were pointed at the actors. There were scenes where there were people not even on camera, in high heels, walking around on hard floors, right in the middle of a shot. It didn't make any sense to me. You couldn't see them. Why are they even in heels? Why are they even wearing shoes? If you want them there moving around, whether they're in a reflection or in the background of the shot, take their shoes off. It's so important for you to listen. Your ears are your most valuable tool. Listen to the audio, listen to the dialogue, listen to all the sounds that are happening around your dialogue. You want to make sure that you hear every word, that there's not a footstep or a bang or even someone on set making a noise that's going to destroy your dialogue. Tell that person not to move. Don't put that cup down right at the moment that they're talking. Get them to do it after they've finished speaking. Whatever it might be, use your ears. If there's something that's not right, if there's a reason you're not hearing the dialogue from start to finish, tell the director, say, I need another take. If it was you with your boom handling, apologize. Say, it was me, can we do one more? Yes, that sound recorder or that better mic are gonna give you better audio, but the thing that will give you the best audio is your ears. Listen. Sound recorders out there, I understand it is not easy to get quality audio. You have so many factors happening on set, things that are just there to ruin your day. But we're here to work together to get better audio. I know I'm coming from the other side, from the dark side, literally the dark side. I'm in a dark room all day, every day. But honestly, we're here to get best audio together. However we can help each other, whatever tips you've got for me, please share them in the comments. If I've missed something and I should do another video, I would love to hear it because we're here to learn, get better together, because honestly, story is king and we want to get the best story out there. Make sure you subscribe, like this video and share it with your peers. But also write in the comments, if there's something I've said that irks you or you got some other thoughts, please hit me up because I'll write back. Also join me on Twitch. I was the first ever sound editor, re-recording mixer to work from start to finish on my projects on Twitch. So go to twitch.tv/noisypost and come and hang out and join the conversation. I love the interaction, the tips and tricks that we share together. It's about growing in knowledge together and helping build each other up. Also, I'm on Discord. Come and join my Noisy Post Discord where we share other tips and tricks and chat while we're offline. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Look forward to seeing you at the next one.